there. So my last video, I debated a preacher. It was more like a interrogation actually, more than anything else. But a lot of you reacted very strongly to that video, and I am here now to give my reaction to it. And I feel like this is necessary because when I was sitting in that chair having this conversation, I was invited to go on because it was something that was going to be, in my mind, presented to an audience that I normally don't have the opportunity to reach. It's just a full audience of Christian people. It's Christian TV. So I worded things in a way that I wouldn't necessarily word them to you on my channel because I was trying to carefully phrase things so I wouldn't turn off the audience so that I could get them to continue listening to me and stuff like that. That was my goal. My goal wasn't really for myself. It was more of just getting the message out to people that normally would be totally closed off to hearing about stuff like that. So I am now going to give you my unfiltered reaction to this guy who was just horrible to me during this interview. And yeah, it should be fun. So I feel like it's important to give some backstory to this because I felt very slighted before the interview was even posted online. Originally, before I walked into this place, I had a couple of stipulations of things that I wanted to have before I agreed to do this. One of my requirements was I wanted to have a list of the topics they wanted to discuss so that I wouldn't be blindsided by anything too ridiculous. And two, I wanted permission to either record the entire thing myself or have them send me the unedited take so that nothing that I said could have any chance to be taken out of context, because that's happened to me before where people twist my words and edit things out of place and make me sound like I'm sending a totally different message than I'm intending to send. So now I've been very careful about that kind of thing. So those are my two requests. I want a list of everything and I want a copy or to be allowed to record the entire interview. Unfortunately, neither one of these things went entirely to plan. First of all, they did send me a list of the topics that we were supposed to cover, but it looked a lot like this. None of these questions are really all that personal, except for maybe the second one, were you raised with religion in your life? Have you ever believed in God? When did you begin identifying as an atheist? Now, these are the only questions that they sent me that were of a personal nature. The whole thing lasted 40 minutes. They edited some stuff out, but over the first 20 minutes at the beginning of this interrogation, this guy was asking me personal questions about my life, and he would not stop. He wanted so badly for me to say that something horrible happened in my childhood, that my parents were horrible or something, yada, 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 therefore I'm an atheist. And I just would not give him that. The second thing was whenever I made sure that I would have a copy or be able to record the interview, I sent them an email to make sure of this, and even in person confirmed a second time right before we went on that it would be okay. In response to the email that I sent, the producer replied saying, okay, we can send you a full unedited version of the show. So that was perfect. I was fine with it. I showed up, talked to them. They were very nice to me, of course. And again, like I said, I confirmed in person. She's like, sure, no problem. So I get home, about a week passes, and I send another email. Hey, just checking. What did I say exactly? Just following up on getting an unedited copy of the interview. Thanks! And I get this email in response 4 days later. I sat on this for 4 days waiting okay, shit, they're not gonna send it to me. Oh my God, I'm screwed. They're gonna edit me, whatever. I get this. I was sure that sending you the unedited version would be okay, but it turns out Jesse's totally not okay with doing it for any of our guests under any circumstances. Well, Jesus Christ, maybe that could have been something that you told me, I don't know, when I asked the first 3 times. Now, to give them some credit in this situation, I wasn't edited out of context. I was terrified of that happening, and that's why I asked for this. But I was extremely frustrated that they said they were gonna do something, and they confirmed with me 3 times, and then didn't follow through. This was a serious concern that I had, and they didn't even try. There are a lot of parts of the interview that aren't included that I think are interesting that honestly made him look really bad, and that's probably why they took it out. Not that he doesn't look bad enough, but just so you're aware, the worst parts are not in the interview. Okay, enough of me rambling. Now I'm gonna actually play it and react to what's happening, and it's just, I'm gonna try to not lose my cool. I'm gonna try.
Welcome to The Fallen State. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. I absolutely appreciate it.
All right, I'm just gonna pause it right here. Check out that full studio. So many people there watching, right? I was told that my camera would be in the way of the shot, so I couldn't film it myself. And this is the shot they were referring to that I would have been in the way of. All those people there could have been so disturbed by my camera filming. Sorry.
Today, more young people in our country are becoming atheists. I want to know why.
And that was the title of the video that he posted on his channel, about millennials becoming atheists or something like that. Yet that was not at all what this was about. It was basically just delving into my personal life and trying to back me into a corner so you could blame my atheism on some like weird child corruption. But that was the title. Sorry for everyone who got misled.
I have with me Jacqueline Glenn. She is a major voice for atheism on YouTube. Her channel is extremely popular. Even Richard Dawkins is a fan.
And I want to pause it right there too, because he did not know who Richard Dawkins was. The first time he said it, I believe he said like Richard Dawson or something like that, and I was like, I had to stop. I'm like, it's Dawkins, it's Richard Dawkins. So he repeated that line and then got it right. So yeah.
You don't look like an atheist. How did that happen to you?
And there we go. That set the tone for this entire conversation. The first thing he says to me, basically, you don't look like an atheist.
How did that happen to you?
Amazing. I tried so hard to handle myself in a calm way without losing it. But as soon as that happened, I was like, this is gonna be good.
How did that happen to you?
How does one look like an atheist?
Oh, kind of like Satan.
No,
No, I'm kidding.
atheists don't believe in Satan either.
So he starts off by asking me to define what an atheist is. And he clearly has no idea because he is like surprised. It's like, oh, you don't believe in Satan either, or heaven or hell, really?
A person that does not believe in God.
Do they believe in Satan?
No.
The devil. So they don't believe in heaven or hell?
No.
Oh, okay.
Now, I actually went through and watched quite a few interviews that this guy had done before going on the show, just so I could be prepared for his style. And I noticed that a lot of times he would try to back people into a corner by getting them to agree to something or say something that he could then use out of context or kind of try to pin them with. So I was very aware of this going in, and it kind of started at the very beginning right here whenever he asked me about my views on the Catholic Church and why I left it.
Tell us what was wrong, what type of personal issues you had with the Catholic Church.
Oh, their politics. A lot of their cover-ups of misconduct within the church.
You mean the homosexual men raping the boys?
Homosexual men raping boys. Now, this guy is extremely homophobic. You'll see that throughout this video, how homophobic he is. But instead of just saying priests molesting children, it's homosexual men raping boys. It's not priests, right? It's the homosexuals.
Why do gay people feel fear when no one really cares about them being gay? They should just be gay.
When no one really cares about them being gay, why can't they just go off and be gay? Well, I don't know, maybe because a lot of people care. They haven't had equal rights for a long time, and there's still a lot of discrimination out there that exists. And this guy's a prime example of it. He acts like people don't care, but then he clearly cares because he calls it a sin later.
Another thing that really affected me personally was one of my best friends growing up was gay. He couldn't be himself.
Oh, he was acting like would normally be acting like a woman?
Well, he had more feminine characteristics.
The first time he said act like a woman, I tried to brush it off, and this happened a lot throughout our conversation. I tried to just not pick apart everything that he said, otherwise we would have been there all day. I tried to just understand what he meant and go with it. And I did that the first time he said act like a woman. I'm like, okay, feminine characteristics, maybe, sure. The second time I was like, no.
So he wanted to act like a woman at school.
No.
But he was forced to act like
He
a man.
didn't want to act like a woman. He just wanted to be attracted to men.
Again, he really wanted to pin me into saying that gay guys act like women. Like, no.
Y'all know how much I love gender roles.
It's abnormal not to tell your friends. Most people don't go around telling their friends, I'm a sinner.
Okay, but that's...
Is that true?
But, I don't view it as a sin.
Oh, you don't?
No. I don't really believe in that concept of sin anyway.
Didn't he literally just say that no one cares if people are gay, and then he follows it by saying that, oh, well, they don't want to tell people that they're a sinner. Okay.
But most people are looking for a feeling.
Yeah, a feeling, but more of a a belief. I wanted to feel like it was real.
I love this part of the conversation. I basically explain how I could never really believe in God, and he goes, so you couldn't really believe in God? And I'm just like, no. And even that wasn't enough.
Right.
And that's something that I just never could bring myself to fully accept
So
it.
you could never believe in God?
Not fully. There was always something in me that felt like I was kind of just going through the motions.
But now you believe there is no God.
No, there's a difference between saying I don't believe and I believe there is no. Damn it.
There is no God.
I don't believe in God.
He had to like confirm over and over and over again that I didn't believe in God. But as I've said in videos before, I think there's a difference between saying I don't believe in God and I believe there is no God. And he kept trying to get me to say that there is no God for sure, instead of I simply just don't believe in it. So he asked me what made me an atheist, and there wasn't a certain point in my life where I just decided to. It was like a gradual thing. So I explained how I went to school for a long time and learned different critical thinking skills that I applied in other areas of my life. And I feel like he was trying to pin me in a corner again here. I could be wrong, but I feel like he was trying to get me to say that in some way education makes people atheists, and I had to try to avoid that.
It's fair then to say that education helped to convince you to believe that, to not to believe in God.
Education altered my way of thinking in a more critical sense. So I used those skills and applied that in other areas of life, but it's not like any class told me not to believe in God.
Okay, so now is when shit gets kind of weird. He really delves into my personal life with my parents, and he's like, so what'd they do? You know, didn't your mom ever make you mad? What's the real deal? What really happened? It was like a barrage of questions trying so hard to get me to say that my parents corrupted me and therefore atheist.
Are you close to your earthly father?
Yes.
Now here I'll have to admit to a bit of dishonesty on my part. I did say that I was close to my earthly father, but I have a better relationship with my Martian father. I just didn't feel like I needed to give him all that information at once. You know, it's just too much.
Were you close to him while growing up?
I've always had a great relationship with my parents.
Was he, and he believed in God?
Both my parents are religious.
And are they an example of people who believe in God? Are they a living example or just a wordy example?
By your definition, you would say yes. They are really great people. My mom cares for both of her elderly parents. My dad actually sings Christian music. Like they're amazing people.
But what's the real deal? Because you're right, they can show me one thing, but being their child, you're behind closed doors with them.
You can hope for perfection, but to expect it is something totally different.
Am I hearing you say that behind closed doors, your parents were not a living example of people who believed in God?
I think they were better than most people who claim to believe in God.
But were they a living example?
I'm not sure what you're
for
trying
you?
to say. You know.
But were they parents of patience and understanding when dealing with you and with each other? Did they fight? Were there
The way
things
they
that
raised
you
me.
did not like about them growing up? So when your mother would get on your nerves as a kid, you didn't think that was bad?
What do you mean?
When she would irritate you, cause you to
Oh,
do
make me clean my
something?
room?
Did you think that was good or bad at the time?
When I was a kid, I didn't want to clean my room.
Did you think it was bad?
Okay, that's it. Can't take anymore. It was so frustrating. And at one point we even started talking about my personal relationships that I've had with guys, and I mentioned that I had been cheated on before, and he's like, yeah, but what'd you do? Were you difficult to live with? And it's like, dude, don't fucking blame me for somebody sticking their dick in another girl while we were dating. I could not believe he did that. But anyways, that was like the first ridiculous half of the entire conversation that we had, just trying to dig into my personal life to find that piece of information where I'm like, I'm so destroyed inside and everything is horrible in my life and that's why I hate Jesus.
Do you believe in absolutes?
I believe in absolute vodka, which I kind of need after watching this. Probably because I'm an atheist with no morals and that's why alcohol.
Do you believe in absolutes?
Moral absolutes?
Period.
It depends on what do you mean?
Do you believe in moral absolutes?
Like objective morality?
Right.
No.
Moral absolutes? No absolutes, period. What do you mean? I mean moral absolutes. And this next part's also pretty frustrating for me to listen to because he repeats the same thing over and over again. Like, do you believe in objective morality? No. Do you believe in a standard definition of right and wrong? No. What about right from wrong? Do you know the difference between right from wrong? I don't believe that there is a standard definition of right from wrong. Okay, yeah, but right from wrong though.
So do you know right from wrong?
I feel like I conduct myself in the most ethical way possible, and I weigh the pros and cons of every choice that I make, and I try to choose the ones that benefit society as a whole and cause the least amount of suffering.
Is that based on knowing right from wrong?
It's
the reason you
based
decided?
no, it's based off of my ethics.
Do you know right from wrong?
I don't believe that there is a standard definition of right from wrong.
Is it wrong to hate your fellow man?
I don't feel that that is good for other people or yourself.
Is it wrong?
For me personally, yes.
Is it wrong, period?
I don't believe that there is a period objective wrong for everyone as a whole.
Oh my God! Are you serious? Are you serious? Is it wrong though? I don't know. I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I didn't just lose my shit.
For the radical homosexuals who hate the Christians,
Radical homosexuals.
are they wrong?
Radical homosexuals. I don't. What do I do with that? Like, they're radically gay. Gay guys they radically like anal sex, and lesbians radically like eating pussy. It's just so offensive.
I've never heard that term. I have never, and you know what? I don't really know of homosexuals that hate Christians, and mostly it's the other way around.
Are you kidding?
No.
You're not being honest with me right now.
He kept pushing me over and over and over again about the Christians that don't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding and whether or not that's just horrible, that gay people might possibly take them to court over it.
You're saying then that when the radical homosexuals went after those
I don't like
Christians,
that term. I don't like that term, radical. The thing is these people are people
No.
that have been putting up with a society of people discriminating against them because of who they are. They are tired of it.
So is it wrong for the radical homosexuals to go after the Christians? Yes or no?
To go after them in what sense?
To force
the thing
them
is,
to bake a cake.
I don't feel like.
Let me
no,
finish
no, no.
the
I don't feel
question.
like they should be forced to do
force
anything.
them to bake a cake.
No.
I feel like I kept my cool for most of the video until it gets to about this point, and I was just losing my fucking mind.
The Christians should take the radical homosexuals.
You know what? I think it's kind of amazing that you're focusing so much on this type of thing. Why don't you take a second and put into perspective the amount of hate and laws that have been passed to take away rights from people who are gay? That is the bigger conversation here. What we're talking about here
I'm not
is the
aware of
minority.
any laws that
Really? Because
been
gay
taken away from
marriage was
homosexuals.
just passed.
But they have never been able to get married, so that wasn't taken away from them.
It is a right that was not given
there
to
was
them.
never a law
So do you
that
feel
said-
like that women
Hold on.
before women had the right to vote,
I'm
they
gonna
shouldn't
get
have
to
fought
in
for
a
that?
minute.
I guess that's radical to you, taking someone to court and trying to handle a dispute legally. But we're just going to ignore radical aspects of religions that actually call for, I don't know, murder.
Is it
It's
right to
free
do that?
speech. It's free speech.
But would it be right? But would it be right? It's almost as though he didn't listen to anything that I said before about right from wrong. And now we are entering one of the most frustrating parts of this whole damn thing, where he twists the definition of discriminate to fit his personal needs, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He pretty much says discrimination against people based off of race, religion, gender is the same thing as making a decision between options based off of personal preference.
Is it wrong to discriminate?
In my opinion, yes.
And do you discriminate?
No.
When different guys approach you, there's some that you like and some that you don't. You know, we have our taste in people, right? Do you say, yes, I'll go with you, to the guy that you're not attracted to?
Well, actually, I have before.
Have you ever
but-
turned down guys?
Oh, of course.
So you're discriminating.
No. That is consciously twisting my words, which is frustrating. No,
I'm not twisting your
no,
words.
you are. You're
I'm
trying
just
to
telling you the facts.
No, I mean, like, making a decision, personal preferences, tastes. I mean, if I choose
That's
tonight,
that's
if I
discrimination.
choose tonight to eat pizza instead of spaghetti, I don't feel that I'm discriminating against spaghetti. Like, that's kind of ridiculous to equate discrimination against a group of people based off of race, religion, or gender as the same thing as picking a flavor of soda.
Either this guy was a complete idiot and did not understand the difference between the two versions of this word, which I don't believe is true, or he was purposefully trying to twist it to fit his agenda and he was being manipulative, and that's just so gross.
Voted for Hillary, you're discriminating against Trump, right?
No, that is not.
It
That is
is
not.
true.
You cannot apply discrimination. You cannot equate discrimination against race, religion, people of different
Who made that
ethnicities.
decision?
Who made that decision? I don't know, dude. It's the definition of the word. You can't make words up. You can't make definitions up. You can't make shit up and go with it as though it's perfectly fine and normal and true. I know that might be difficult for someone who spends their days preaching about an invisible man in the sky, but in the real world, that kind of thing isn't okay.
You can't equate discrimination against groups of people to making choices and preferences in political parties, in the food that you eat, and what I decided to wear this morning.
I honestly think that Jesse and the entire establishment of people working around him do this kind of shit all the time. They're purposefully manipulative. They try to twist people's words. They're not honest in their communications with you. They try to back you into a corner. And it's just such a horrible, sleazy tactic that I would actually expect to not find coming from a Christian organization of people that are supposed to base their actions off of morals, right? But more often than not, that's not the case. And the atheist, hey, is the one that has better morality, which should just go further to prove that you do not get your morality from a holy book that says stoning gay people is cool.
And I encourage you to rethink voting for Hillary and stop discriminating against Trump.
Oh yeah, I wish you would stop discriminating against Hillary.
No, I don't like Hillary.
Oh, is that you're discriminating
She
against
is
her?
the devil. I do discriminate. I discriminate all the time. And I
love this. This is my favorite clip of the entire fucking thing. I do discriminate. I discriminate all the time. Someone needs to like edit that clip out and make it like a meme. I discriminate all the time. I love it. It's my favorite thing. I discriminated yesterday. I'm gonna discriminate tomorrow. I'm discriminating right now. I fucking hate everyone. Did you guys see my face though when he said that? I was just like, I don't know how to react to you saying you discriminate all the time. It's hilarious.
I think you need to take into consideration that people use discrimination as something more serious than just making a decision between options.
amazing.
Discrimination is something that is like insulting.
Amazing. I had to explain to him that discrimination is insulting. And he found that information just to be amazing.
What someone thinks subjectively, their own opinion, their own discriminations that they may have, should not be something that is legally forced onto other people.
We tell that to radical homosexuals.
Anytime
Radical homosexuals.
radical homosexuals.
The radical homosexuals. We tell that to
anytime,
radical homosexuals.
anytime.
And just to end this whole ridiculous thing on a high note, he decides to use the slippery slope fallacy, which is just one of my favorite things ever. If we let gay people be together, then what's next?
There's an adult mother who wants to marry her adult son. They say they love one another.
Okay, I have a problem.
Should they do that?
I have a problem whenever incest and
Jesus.
pedophilia are.
These people love each other.
No.
They're adults.
Of course he would be defending incest because he's religious and they don't believe in evolution. So we've got Adam and Eve and they have a bunch of boys. So they have to pretty much have sex with their mother to carry on our species. So incest, A-okay. Praise Jesus.
And so you don't see them on the same level.
Absolutely not. Of course not.
All right.
People having sex with family members, with minors, with animals is not on par
But at one
with
time we
gay
saw
marriage.
how gross homosexuality was. too.
No, I
We had
never
the
thought
same
that,
opinion.
actually, ever.
Did you have fun?
Really? This is how he ends. He ends it on this note. I'm sitting there all fired up because he literally just equated incest, pedophilia, whatever, with gay sex and gay relationships. And I'm so pissed off, and I'm talking about how I don't think gay relations are gross, and I'm like angry, and the next thing he says is, did you have fun? I didn't know what he was talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about? Did I have fun with what? We're literally on the topic of incest. You asked me if I had fun. I don't know what you're referring to, dude.
Did you have fun?
Doing what?
This.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
fun.
but-
I enjoy a good conversation.
Yeah, I can tell.
I've had choices since the day that I was born.
I've had choices since the day that I was born. Gotta love country music. And as much fun as that was, the fun doesn't end there. There's comments. Yay! She a idiot. I always get real offended at those. She got destroyed. Just look at her get mad over these questions. JLP is cool, calm, and she's talking over him trying to make him look dumb. JLP speaks the truth and she can't handle it. I just can't handle the truth, you guys. I can't take it. It's not like he was trying to make me look bad at all, bringing up my childhood 100,000 fucking times. No, it was me. I was the one trying to make him look bad. Yeah. Liberal brainwashing at its finest. We have to stand up to these people. She sounds so stupid. No man wants a woman that thinks like this. Oh, really? And this is the best part. He fucking responded. This guy sends me an insult saying that I'm stupid and that no man would want me. And Jesse Lee Peterson responds saying, lol, lol. And then I'm assuming one of my fans sees this and wants to stand up for me. And they say this: I'm sure no educated woman would want a man of your IQ either. Diversity. And then he gets mad at this because all of a sudden now, I mean, insulting me is fine, but now whenever it happens to him, all of a sudden insults are no longer cool. And he says, insults will get you nowhere with me, missy. Is she really atheist? She seems to be starving to death. Oh my god, for the 100 millionth time, I am not anorexic, I have no kind of eating disorder, I just happen to be thin, and what the hell does that have to do with being an atheist? That's like saying, hey, is that dude really a Christian? I mean, he seems kind of tall. Eee, I'm rubbing my hands together as it's starting. Judging from the preview, she's gonna annoy me. Atheists believe life is pointless. They do? Have you asked someone who's not religious whether or not they think life is pointless? I actually think that I probably value life more than a lot of religious people because I realize that it's the only chance I have to exist. There's nothing waiting for me after I die, so hashtag YOLO. One part of the interview that was completely cut out, which I'm kind of sad, which is another reason why I wanted to have it filmed, was where we discussed other social issues, one of which being racism. And he actually at one point said that he doesn't think that there is a single person that exists anywhere that is racist. And I was just like, okay, dude. And another part that was cut out that was my favorite was whenever he asked me if I thought people who weren't supporting gay rights were racist, because apparently gay is a race now. All those radical homosexuals.
Radical homosexuals.
It was incredibly frustrating, but like I said, no regrets. I feel like it provided some good entertainment value and insight into the way that, unfortunately, quite a few religious people still think. So yeah, and to the rest of you out there that are religious watching this, I understand that he does not represent all of you. I had quite a few religious people reach out to me saying, I am so sorry that he was as disrespectful as he was, and I hear you. Thank you for the positive messages of encouragement, and thank you for watching. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it everywhere. All my social media links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I do discriminate. I discriminate all the time.
A lot of people ask me questions about what happened to me to make me an atheist, at what point in my life did I become an atheist, and there wasn't one catastrophic event in my life